everyone. My name is Ufoma Maluru, and as usual, I'm your host for today's class. For those of you just joining me, I teach people how to sew and to do DIY crafts from the comfort of their homes. I discovered that a lot of people want to learn how to sew, but they find it very daunting and challenging. So my idea is to bring it home and make it as simple as possible. So for my fashion tutorials, I don't use patterns. I try to cut from scratch so you can follow me as I go on. So today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to make patchwork. Now I have this fabric, different fabrics on my table I've already cut. And to make patchwork, you need to work with patchwork or quilted work. You need to work with vibrant fabrics and different fabrics. And you also need to work with accuracy. Your sizes are really, really important. So as you can see on the table, I have different fabrics that I've already cut into squares. So you can decide to cut your squares into whatever dimension or whatever size you want. But for me, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be using a 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches square. So I used about 7 different fabrics to cut my square. So I have different colors because it needs to pop. If you make your quilted work or your patchwork and it's not popping, then the effect may not be as good as you want it. So to cut this particular skirt today, I have decided to do this. I have pink, I have blue, I have shades of red, I have shades of white. So different fabrics. I just put them together. Then I'm going to just cut. So for you to make them really perfect, you need to iron them out so they are flattened. So now that we've cut this out, normally if you're going to use, maybe you want to make a skirt where you need 1 yard, because you're going to be cutting and joining, you may need a total of 1.5 yard of fabric to actually do the work. So if you want to cut a style that you will use 1 yard, make allowance for 1.5 yards of fabric, and that's what I've done. So this is what I have, and now we're going to go to sewing. And what we're going to be sewing, you're going to notice that I don't just join any fabric that comes to my hand. I'm going to be joining them in a way that will make them harmonious. For instance, when I use the red, I take a red, I could go with the pink, then I can add a green, then I go and I add a white, then the red, then the blue, okay, then something with yellow. On a good day, I won't want to add these two dark colors because it's not going to contrast. So I may decide to add the yellow part with something more vibrant, a pink, so that it's going to contrast beautifully. So when making your quilted work or your patch work, always remember to do that. So a lot of intelligence and creativity goes into doing this. You don't think it's just something you just sit down and you patch up. That's why when you see some work, sometimes it doesn't look so appealing or nice or attractive. So you need to work with a lot of intelligence. You need to plan what you do. So I'm going to sew them by rows. Maybe for a roll, I'm going to be joining like 7 different pieces. So after joining like 3 rows, I'll now put them together. It depends on the length of what you want to cut. If it's a short skirt, you may not need to add so much. So you calculate the length of your skirt. For instance, a skirt with a length 25, I won't want to add more than 4 rows because this is 7.5 inches. So if I add 4, you make half-inch allowance for your sewing. It now comes to about 6. So 6 times 4 will give you like 24. So by the time you add your band, you will get what you want. So come on, let's go and start cutting. Yeah, so right now you can see what I have on the table, and I've been able to sew this. Okay, the first line, as you can notice, I had different prints and I had to mix them in a way that would really look attractive. I had the red, the blue, then the green with the red, yellow, the pink, the green, the white with the wine, then the um, kente fabric. So that was my first line. Then for the second line, I had to do something else. Okay, I followed a different pattern. So I have the pink, the blue, the red, the white, and subsequently. So now I'm going to place this next to the first line. Then the third line also, I had to make sure it was different. So I had different colors that will not clash when I when I put them together to start to join. So once you've sewn this, add 4 layers. Once you've done this like this, depending on the length, as I said earlier, all you need to do is to join together. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm just going to sew straight on. Then after sewing the first and the second, when you take the third and also sew. And when you're sewing, make sure that the lines are on each other, okay? They are placed evenly. So I don't have the lines all over the place. So let's go and get sewing. Then I'll come back to show you what I was able to get with this. So right now, as you can see, I've joined the pieces together and they look so beautiful, don't they? So you see the colors are not clashing. You don't have yellow, yellow, blue, blue, or you have pink, pink. So you really need to assemble your pieces together in such a way that creates a cohesive and harmonious look for your quilted work. So that's how you make your ankara patched work or quilt work. So this is already made into a fabric. So you can decide to cut whatever you want from this. So if you're worried about where to get beautiful prints like this, just check on my page. There's a link to my online Instagram page. Send me a message and I'll help you get these fabrics posted to you. So you could get different colors and just mix them up. And notice you should note that you can also do this with English fabric. Just get different prints, polka dots, stripes, flowery patterns, whatever patterns you want, you could always mix them together. It does not need to be Ankara fabric. You could also do plain and mix different plain fabrics together. So if I just iron this after sewing, so if you want to cut, you now place like you do your ordinary fabric. Like I want to make a skirt, so I'll just place and cut. So for my next video, I'm going to teach you how to make a skirt, a beautiful quilted skirt from this quilted Ankara fabric. So thank you for watching and do not forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you for watching and do give it a thumbs up.